Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever wondered what holds a massive global faith together? Well, for almost 2 billion Muslims, the answer is kind of beautiful. It's an architectural metaphor. 5 core practices that act as the pillars holding up the entire structure of Islam. Today, we're going to dive into this very framework that shapes the daily life of believers all over the world. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the whole idea of these 5 pillars. Then, we'll look at the first and most important one, faith itself. After that, we'll get into the pillars of personal worship and then the ones that focus on the community. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together to create the complete structure. So, where does all this come from? Well, everything we're talking about today comes from this one really powerful source. It's what's known as a hadith, a saying from the Prophet Muhammad himself. So this isn't just some ancient text, it's considered the actual blueprint for a life of faith, passed down through generations.
And here it is, the core idea, straight from the source. The language here is so important. It says Islam has been built on 5 pillars. See, it's not just a to-do list. It's an architectural image telling us that these practices are the load-bearing columns. They're not, optional extras. They're what holds the entire faith upright.
Okay, so let's stick with this idea of a foundation for a minute. Just like any strong building, the whole thing is only as good as what it's built on.
And that brings us to the first and, without a doubt, the most crucial pillar of them all. This is the bedrock, the absolute foundation that everything else is built on, the pillar of faith.
This first pillar has a name, the Shahada. It's the testimony of faith. The best way to think of it is like the single key that opens the door to Islam. By saying this one sentence with genuine belief, a person officially becomes a Muslim. It really is the cornerstone.
It's actually pretty incredible how much is packed into this one sentence. It really has 2 huge parts. First, the absolute belief in one God, pure monotheism. And second, the confirmation that Muhammad is his messenger. In just these few words, you have the entire foundation of Islamic belief laid out.
All right, so with that foundation of faith poured and set, the structure can start to go up. The next 2 pillars are all about building that direct, personal connection with God through acts of worship. First up is Salah, which is the ritual prayer. And this isn't just a casual chat, it's a very specific, structured act of worship, and is performed 5 times every single day. This constant rhythm is designed to make you pause, to pull you away from the chaos of daily life, and to refocus you on your spiritual purpose.
And listen to the word the source uses, establishing the prayer. That implies so much more than just doing it. It suggests making prayer a permanent, solid fixture in your life. Like a column that's set firmly in place and isn't going anywhere.
The next pillar is Psalm, and this is the fast during the holy month of Ramadan. For a whole month, from the moment the sun comes up until it goes down, Muslims don't eat or drink anything. But really, it goes so much deeper. It's a spiritual reset. That feeling of hunger is meant to build discipline, purify your soul, and give you real empathy for people who face scarcity all the time.
As the source tells us, this practice is tied right into the calendar. So unlike prayer, which is daily, this pillar is an annual thing. It's like a yearly tune-up that strengthens your faith and deepens that connection to both God and to the rest of humanity.
Okay, but faith isn't just something you do on your own, right? It's also about being part of something bigger. So the next 2 pillars take that internal belief and stretch it outward, building a structure that supports the whole community.
This pillar is called Zakat. And this is a big one to understand. It's not just optional charity, it's an obligation. It's basically a social welfare system built right into the faith. By requiring people to give a certain percentage of their wealth to those who need it, Zakat helps purify the wealth of the giver and builds a safety net for everyone.
And notice that word again from the source, paying. It doesn't say giving, it says paying. This frames Zakat less like a gift and more like a debt that's owed to the community. It just goes to show you that social justice isn't an add-on in Islam. It's a fundamental pillar holding everything up. And that brings us to the final pillar, the Hajj. This is the pilgrimage to Mecca. For every Muslim who is physically and financially able, this is a journey they're expected to make once in their life. I mean, just imagine it. Millions of people from every corner of the globe, all dressed in simple white cloth, standing together as equals. It's just this incredible, powerful symbol of unity.
Now, the source calls it making a pilgrimage to the house. So what's the house? Well, that's the Kaaba, that iconic black cube building in Mecca that Muslims all around the world face when they pray. The Hajj is a journey to the absolute spiritual center of the faith. So, after laying the foundation and putting up each of these pillars, the personal ones and the communal ones, what does the finished building actually look like? Let's put it all together.
So here it is, the whole shebang. It all starts with the Shahada, that bedrock of belief. Then you have the pillars of personal worship rising up from it, Salah and Psalm, connecting you to God. And then, finishing the whole structure, you have the community pillars, Zakat and Hajj, connecting you to the rest of the world. It's really a balanced, complete design for a life of faith.
And looking at this powerful structure, it kind of brings up a bigger question for all of us, doesn't it? It makes you think, what are the pillars in our own lives? What are those fundamental actions and beliefs that we repeat, that piece by piece build not just who we are as individuals, but also the communities we're a part of? It's definitely something to think about.